You skipped it, you dissed it, you said it's a bore. But what if that film's got a little bit more? What if I don't like it? What if it's bad? What if it's awkward or lazy or sad? But what if it's genius, a total surprise? What if it's gold when I open my eyes? We're watching the films you love to avoid. Now sit down and deal with your cinephile void. What if I don't like it? Let's give it a spin. You might hate it or love it. Let's dive right in.
When Napoleon Dynamite premiered at Sundance in 2004, it was made for roughly $400,000, and it went on to gross over $46 million domestically. This trajectory signals something pretty remarkable, that a film so hyper-specific and deadpan could resonate widely. But what if it doesn't resonate with you? Well, here's why you may or may not like a film on IndieWire's top 30 most important Sundance films. Directed by Jared Hess and co-written with his wife, Teresa, this feature evolved from a short that was called Peluca, which introduced an early version of the character. At the time, it was named Seth, not Napoleon. If you're a fan of process or watching a scrappy short expand into a fully realized feature, that alone is a reason to perk up. And visually, the film leans into regional naturalism. It's shot in Preston, Idaho, and the landscapes and interiors feel authentically small town, but heightened just enough to become stylized and intriguing. The costumes and production design exist in this strange temporal limbo. They're vaguely modern and vaguely retro. And whether that reads as overstimulating or deliciously kitsch will definitely depend on your taste. If you enjoy the heightened suburban artificiality of John Waters, you'll probably feel that wavelength here. Structurally, the film resists traditional narrative conventions. There's no conventional three-act arc, no rising stakes in the classical sense. Instead, it accumulates awkward pauses, behavioral quirks, and hyper-specific detail. This creates more situational humor rather than punchline-driven ones. And John Heder's performance as our lead is defined by a flattened affect, minimal modulation, and extended silences. On paper, this can sound akin to cringe humor, or, if you want to sound fancy, Schadenfreude, which refers to the embarrassing reaction of relief we feel when something bad happens to someone else instead of us. And that is often polarizing to audiences. Think The Office. Personally, I often really dislike this kind of comedy. Yet, the film maintains an unusual sincerity. Napoleon isn't framed as a loser needing transformation, and our characters' victories are earned through authenticity rather than contrived plot. The emotional climax serves less as a narrative resolution than as a communal affirmation. And it is extremely satisfying, even though it is exceptionally absurd. And then there's the cultural impact. Lines like "vote for Pedro," simply going, "yes," or the hyper-specific pronunciation of quesadilla. They became endlessly quotable. They circulated through early internet forums, aim-away messages, high school hallways. That virality cemented its cult identity, but it also created backlash. For some, the oversaturation amplified the charm. For others, discovering the film after years of repetition made the humor feel pre-exhausted. You might even resent it because of that one person who was simply way too into it. In many ways, Napoleon Dynamite can sound like too many strong flavors all at once. However, like a dish made by a brilliant chef, it's balanced perfectly, and it creates a film that anticipates later strands of indie awkwardism like mumblecore films or deadpan television comedies. Its legacy isn't just in its quotability or awkward sincerity, but in how it validates a comedic mode built on anti-performance, discomfort, and stillness. Ultimately, loving or disliking Napoleon Dynamite comes down to your tolerance for awkward realism, deadpan humor, and cultural ubiquity. It's less about objective quality and more about expectation. How do you perceive humor? How do you process sincerity? How do you experience pacing? And how much awkwardness are you willing to sit with before you either lean in or check out? Welcome to the episode, everyone. If you can't guess from the background or the way that I'm dressed, we're here to talk about Napoleon Dynamite. And coming back to challenge me to watch a film, because I had never seen this before, we have Victoria Rocca. Hi. No, wait.
Hello.
Your last name's not Rocca.
Roccaforte. But I mean,
Roccaforte.
same. I'm Rocca on social.
Rocca, my brain went, I'm so used to calling people by their handles. We're actually
I'm
friends
good
in
with
real
that.
life too. That's how bad I am. Just
I
call
don't
me
know some of my friends'
Mrs.
last names. Hey, Mrs. Runtime.
Sometimes I'll be listening to other shows about movies, like how did this get made? And they'll be like, we have a question in from Spoiled Monkey Brain 75.
That's like my worst nightmare is like if I had like an embarrassing username, like a burner account, and then they were answering the question. Yeah, like on one of those like read your thirst tweets or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Benedict Cumberbatch Thirst Trap 70. Like, oh. Anyway, focusing back in, we are here to talk about Napoleon Dynamite, which I had never seen, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But as we always do at the beginning of these shows, we're going to yap a little bit because we have a couple of different topics here to talk about. Victoria actually got me to start watching a show, which is hilarious because everyone's watching this show, and why would I be so stubborn? Theme of the show. Got me to watch Heated Rivalry.
I am dying to know what you think because to say that I'm obsessed with this show is a giant understatement. As you know from my videos that I've been posting. Yeah.
I think to say that the world is obsessed with this show is an understatement. I was actually reading a news article yesterday, all of the cascading good things that have happened because of this show simply being out, which is phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like pro athletes coming out.
Yeah, pro athletes coming out. Just a general acceptance across the board from this. If you manage to be living underneath a rock and you don't know what Heated Rivalry is about, how would you elevator pitch Heated Rivalry? Like, pitch it the way you pitched it to me.
Basically, take challengers and make it, like, in my opinion, what it really should have been. Okay? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, make it gay. Okay, so, like, gay challengers, sort of. I think there's undertones. It's a Luca Guadagnino film, of course there's undertones, but...
I was gonna...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Spoiler. If you haven't... Everyone's seen Challengers by now, right? But I would say for Heated Rivalry, it's really less about the salaciousness and, like, the intimate scenes. Like, that's what everyone's talking about. And I think that was their hook. But really, at its core, it is such a cool exploration of identity, masculinity, love, friendship, in especially like such a masculine like industry like sports and hockey. So I was being an athlete growing up around sports my whole life, I just really gravitated toward it and was shocked at how like immediately hooked I was. Yeah,
I was shocked by how immediately open-armed received the show was by everyone. And of course, there are your outliers who are simply going to be like, I don't want to consume anything that's queer media. Those people, they're not part of this discussion. But even your like conservative middle ground, like the argument that like, there's a lot of stuff in it actually about hockey. So, you know, if you're like a hockey fan, it's good too.
What really kills me is like, I think it's called The Empty Netters. There's like this hockey podcast. So I think it's like 2 or 3 of these like former pro NHL players, and they're all like obsessed with Heated Rivalry and like breaking it down. And I think like if you have a cosign from people who actually played in the league, I don't know, I think that's kind of like all you really need. That like shocked me, like the reception from the straight community too, to your point.
Yes, because oftentimes it feels like things are either made within the community for the community or outside of the community to kind of, like, I think the best example I can think of without using a protected class is the Big Bang Theory. Like, this is supposed to be a representation of your, like, smart, weirdy friends who are on the spectrum. But it's actually kind of deeply offensive. It is not for the people it represents. It's for the people outside of those people who need to be taught the smallest level of a lesson that, like, hey, these are also other humans. Learn to love them so you'll treat the ones you know in real life like human beings. I don't enjoy that media. This is made by Jacob Tierney, who, if you know Letterkenny, that's one of the 2 people who started that show. So again, coming from someone who definitely knows hockey, because hockey is a huge part of Letterkenny, but he himself is gay and was a hockey player. So it's coming from a really earnest place of knowledge and care, and you fucking see that in it.
The most fascinating thing to me is like when I looked him up and saw like, oh, child actors Afraid of the Dark, and then I was like, oh, Letterkenny, that's really like and Shorzy. Like I just was like, wow, like talk about not, I mean, this is kind of a theme within this show, I think, and a lot of the people who worked on it, but like talk about avoiding a pigeonhole. I mean, he's made like these really successful hockey comedies that like explore like these sorts of themes, but tonally are so different. It's like the driest, you know, humor and just kind of like ridiculous scenarios. Heated Rivalry feels like cinema. Like, I don't know. He can do it all. You can really have it all. I think he's like totally avoiding that creative pigeonhole that people will try to like put you in, especially now.
Yeah, yeah. It's wonderful. It's really funny. I was looking and I was also like, are you afraid of the dark? Are you kidding me? Wow, deep cut.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh, okay. So, and I think, I mean, I think that based on what I've heard about how like the actors were also like treated and like directed, I think that it makes a ton of sense that he's also been in an actor's shoes too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. In the things that I was hearing about it, I also heard that because it's on HBO Max, right?
Yes.
If I'm remembering correctly, they just greenlit a show called Slow Pitch, which is about lesbians falling in love in softball, and it's being produced by Elliot Page. And like, oh, that's fucking great. And that made me think about how you told me the original intent for Bend It Like.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Basically, Bend It Like Beckham was supposed to have a queer ending. I mean, it is a queer story. It was initially written that way. But I mean, it was 2001. So like, I can't even really, it's hard to like think about that, you know what I mean, happening back then at that time. And so, yeah, like in our last conversation, we were talking about how kind of what is like, or let me rephrase. In the past, it was kind of like you had to choose one or the other, sort of like with like A League of Their Own, fried green tomatoes, all in addition to Bend It Like Beckham having these sort of like queer undertones, but not being able to fully be explored because it wouldn't get greenlit. So it's like that trade-off of, do I make the story exactly as I want it and it gets less eyes, or do I pander to sort of like what like the industry wants and then get it made at least? So I don't know, there's kind of like maybe not a right or wrong, but it's interesting to think about that now we're at a place where these very unapologetically queer shows can be greenlit and made right now. I will admit, I was kind of surprised that Slow Pitch got greenlit in this climate, but I mean, also it's Canada, so it does kind of make sense.
Yeah, it's funny because we literally just canceled the League of Their Own adaptation on a different network, which was pretty much that. So it's like literally is on the heels of the fact that Heated Rivalry did so well that they're willing to explore something that they literally just shut the book on last year.
Which is amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's also a part of me that's so bummed about League of Their Own not getting a second season still. That kind of also jaded me. I was like, wow, Slow Pitch is getting greenlit. That's amazing. But yeah, that was devastating.
Gotta take the little wins. I know. I try not to be super pessimistic and asshole about it, but it's like, yeah. I'm glad that now there's money in it, so everyone cares about queer cinema now that it's financially viable.
And to Canada's credit, I mean, they did try to make Heated Rivalry in the US because they would have gotten a bigger budget, but the main note that has like leaked, I guess, from that conversation was that there would have to be no kissing between any characters till episode 5 of the 6-series show, which, as you and I both know, just simply would not have worked. And is also such a departure from the books. So yeah, he chose to make it in Canada for a fraction of the budget. And to be honest, I did not know that it was a low budget show when I was first watching it. So I think he made the right call.
Yeah, I definitely think that they made the right call because it's one of those things where, like, if you equated queerness to, say, the use of magic, say people were that against the use of magic and we're like, well, we'll adapt Harry Potter. We'll just take the magic out. You're like, don't bother. Go do any other story. You can't. This one's very... And I'm laughing as well because I was reading a meme online yesterday that said, The difference between television in the aughts and television now is that if we had a show called Surf Dracula in 2000, it would have 23 episodes, and every episode he'd surf on his surfboard and get in a new adventure. Now it's 7 episodes long. It's about his backstory, how he got the surfboard, and he only surfs in the last 5 minutes of the last episode.
That's
To
so
which I
accurate.
add, and we don't even talk about the fact that he's Dracula until season 3.
My mind immediately went to the bear for some reason,
Yeah.
which, yeah.
I mean, and these are still critically acclaimed shows.
So good. Yeah.
Oh my God. Even the newest Game of Thrones right now, like the newest Game of Thrones is trying to play it like The Pit. The Pit is shot 1 hour of a day of a shift. So every episode is 1 hour. It moves in that pace. And yet somehow the newest Game of Thrones is like 1 hour in every day just before the joust of a thing. And I'm like, fucking get there.
Right. I need some action to still be invested. Yeah. I need something to go off of.
Do anything. So yeah, I was thinking, would now be a great time to take the original IP of Bend It Like Beckham and do a 8-part TV series.
You are like speaking my soul language. Like I mentioned like on our last episode, I don't think I would be the right person to maybe like be like the sole showrunner, writer, director. I think like it's really important that someone of Southeast Asian descent takes the reins on that, because it's that is like the like focal point of the story, really. And so many things are explored through that, like sexuality and gender and all the things, racism, being an immigrant, like all of it. It's just such a brilliant story. But I would want to be like involved. Like I would want to maybe like produce, help write, etc. So this is my somewhat informal pitch that if anyone is trying to make that, hit me up. I would love to be a part of that.
I was just quickly looking up something. Have you heard of the show We Are Lady Parts?
No.
It's a show from Britain. I think it's on Peacock now. It might have gotten canceled. It has at least 2 seasons. And it's about, what do I say, Muslim or Hindu? I'm not entirely. All-female Muslim punk band.
Oh, and that sounds amazing.
Oh my God, the music is great. The actors are great. It's this conflict between who they are as people and the music that they want to do and everyone's expectations of them. One of the head writers is Nidia Manzoor. I think she would be a great choice for being a showrunner for that, especially because I think that show just got canceled. So get her back in there.
On to the next. Yeah. And I think it would be really cool if it was like a British director. Mm-hmm. To your point, like I think that it's so interesting. It's just so interesting, like the whole like diaspora of immigrants in London. Yeah,
and to what I know so far about the season 4 of Ted Lasso, because it's actually coming back, even though it ended. Bless its heart, I don't complain.
I did not know that
it
was coming back. Yeah, I thought it was.
They just announced that they're already mostly done filming. Ted now coaches a women's soccer team.
Okay.
See how that goes.
See how that goes.
Because that'll definitely wind up crossing over with probably stuff from Bend It Like Beckham. And maybe they could, because, they could go into that. I would
even if they just did like a referential episode, that would be hilarious for OG fans. Yeah.
It would be impossible to do a British women's soccer show and not wind up somehow, right?
Right. Or like She's the Man. I'm just like immediately going to She's the Man, also, even though it's not British. Yeah.
I just really like it when somewhat more esoteric sports for United States viewers get a little bit of a limelight. I know soccer is huge everywhere else. So to be like, it's an esoteric sport. It is not, just to us.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I know it's like
hockey feels
the
that
biggest.
Way too. Yeah, it's the biggest world sport. And yet we're like, oh, that's cute. Is it like cricket?
Meanwhile, American football is what only played here in like Australia and like maybe a little in Europe.
And there's also Canadian rules football, which is slightly different. Yeah, well, we're notorious for doing stuff like there's the World Series of baseball, and it only contains United States teams. World Series.
Right, I've never thought of that. Like, it's just the MLB.
Tough shit. So yeah, I would love to see more shows coming out of that because of all that's been greenlit. I know that Mayor Mandani told people during the snowstorm to go get a copy of it because they made all downloads unlimited digital downloads for Heated Rivalry, the series, which is such a cute thing to do. Like,
I love
yes,
him. That's my
do
mayor. I don't even live there, but that's my mayor. Yeah.
that's my. So, to quote Linda Belcher, he's the mayor. We gotta love him. He's
Exactly.
the mayor. And segueing a little bit more into stuff, we just did a little movie marathon together because we were watching films nominated for they're now called Actor Awards, and that feels so vague as to feel like perhaps this is a scam. The Actor
Right,
Awards.
it sounds a little less official, but also I feel like people not in the film world are like, but what is SAG? Like, what is that even? Which I didn't even think of, but yeah.
Yeah. It's the awards that actors give other actors. Yeah. So the only word left is actors.
It's got to be the Actor Awards, of course.
Bless. Yeah. Well, I think what it came out of was like, so it was SAG, then SAG merged with AFTRA, the American Film, Radio, and Television Association, and so it was supposed to be the SAG-AFTRA Awards, but they were like, that's too much to say.
Yeah, we just gotta abbreviate.
Come up with, instead of just leaving out, they just kind of renamed the whole thing. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. We watched 3 of them, and I'd love to talk about them right now just to give people a little idea of the stuff. We had seen a few already, so sorry if we don't discuss those ones. We didn't watch them. Tough shit. I saw Marty Supreme on my own time. You saw Marty Supreme on your own time. Same. I do. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Marty Supreme, move forward. If you're looking to just do the Napoleon Dynamite thing, there's a chapter selection and you'll see. I'll name one of the chapters, started discussion, Napoleon Dynamite. Otherwise, listen to us now. I did want to talk to you about one line from Marty Supreme that has been living in my brain ever since I heard it. No one seems to talk about it, and I'm losing my mind. At the very end,
what is it?
The guy says to Marty, I'm a vampire who's been alive since the 60s. What?
Is this Kevin O'Leary to him?
Yeah. And he doesn't do it in like an ironic way. And Marty doesn't respond in any way at all. It's just he earnestly delivers a line that he says, I am a vampire from the 1600s. I've been alive for hundreds of years and I will outlive you too. And you're like, what?
Right, like that can't be literal.
What? You could have just cut around movie? That. Yeah. This line should have been edited out. Did you put this in because you're like, if Sinners wins because they want a vampire movie, right. Well, guess what? Marty Supreme is
They could have cut a lot out of Marty Supreme. I mean, you know how I feel about long run times. I am very much team make movies shorter.
Make movies shorter.
There was a lot they could have cut out. Yeah. That line is interesting. I don't even think I remembered it. I probably just interpreted it as like, oh, this guy's off his rocker. But maybe he really is.
I'm so lucky I did not watch that movie in a movie theater because that line came out and I said, what? In the loudest, most flushing, what? And like, shut the movie down. Like, what? I refuse to watch another scene until someone explains to me.
Have you read anything like online or talked to anyone who has theories? Like, are there conspiracy theories?
Most people are just like, oh, it was a weird thing that he said to be like, I'm powerful. And I'm like, no. There's so many other things you could say to be like, I'm powerful. I have more money than you. I could buy and sell you. I could pay to have you killed. Anything.
Yeah.
I would have paid all the money I have for the rest of my life if, when they cut back to hit that actor in the crowd being mad that Marty re-challenges him, he had little fangs.
Just a little Easter egg.
Like,
where
5 stars!
He has like a cape.
Yes.
He just suddenly just like falls back.
Give him an award. There's a whole nother movie there for me.
I'm really glad that we didn't watch Marty Supreme because I only had an over 3 hour or an over 2.5 hour one in me, and it was one battle after another. So
it was a much better choice.
It was a much better choice.
I will admit I ran out of the room during certain scenes of Marty Supreme because they were so anxiety driven and so upsetting. I just like stood up and ran out. So like it wouldn't have been a good social event for us.
Right. That was the only Safdie Brothers movie I realized that I've seen in theaters. So like during good time, during Uncut Gems, I could take breaks, you know? It was okay. But Marty Supreme, I was buckled in the whole time. Yeah.
And one battle after another, because I was worried it would be a little long. It was the last movie we watched in our day, too.
Yeah.
It goes down pretty good. I feel like it starts to, at hour 2, be a little bit like, oh, shit. But the first 2 hours, you're like, oh, is that like an hour and 15? Oh, it's been 2.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, actually. I almost want to say that I liked, like, the middle act the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to remember what exactly happens in the beginning, but I really, really liked how he set everything up. And I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't seen a bunch of, like, the OG PTA movies, but the ones I have seen, specifically Phantom Thread, I really struggled with the runtime and the setup of everything. I found that one really hard to get through. I don't know if you did. As beautiful as it was, I mean, it looked like a painting, truly, in every single still, which is very hard to pull off. But yeah, I don't know if you felt similarly, but
that one, there are moments, sorry, excuse me. There are moments when I watch that movie where I'm 100% like, this movie fucking sucks. And then 10 seconds later, I'm like, this is brilliant. This sucks. This is brilliant. This sucks. Brilliant. Sucks. Brilliant. Sucks.
That too. Yeah.
When the highs are so high, though, and like the costumes are so amazing, and as someone who really loves fashion, I was really into that. And like, I will give extra credit to anyone who can throw in a line or a situation that I truly did not see coming. And I absolutely gasped out loud at the line that he gives at the end that I won't spoil. And it was just like, what? Crazy.
I do love that. I love when you cannot predict what they're going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. And there aren't too many films that delve into exploring a toxic relationship with that kind of ambiguity, positivity. Like, most of them are literally like, our main character needs to be freed. And this one was kind of like, they both fucked up and they deserve each other.
Yeah. I will say, I was also surprised at the twist. Like, no spoilers, but I just remember, like, similarly to what you're saying, I was like, wait, that's it? Like, people really hyped it up like it was going to be this nuts reveal. And I don't know, for me, I wasn't really that surprised. Yeah.
I think you're just not used to Daniel Day-Lewis saying that sequence of words.
Yeah.
You're just like,
right.
No.
He was, and I'm such a fan of his.
He's great. Yeah. So I've always been like, oh man, you haven't seen the good P.T. Anderson and you've seen the crap P.T. Anderson. And there are hits and misses for any director. I know some people want to believe there aren't Spielberg fans. Oh no, what? Who said that?
Spielberg, I feel like, that should not be a hot take for Spielberg. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
I mean, he did just get his Grammy, which means he's now an EGOT. Congratulations. There's no doubt around that Steven Spielberg is wonderful when he's wonderful. Fabelmans just didn't hit for me at all. Yeah. So the other movies that we did watch, we'll do a little quick roundup. We did watch Blue Moon, which I thought was super disappointing because we're such big Linklater fans. In fact, the other film that we discussed was A Scanner Darkly, which is an early Linklater film. And this just didn't really feel like him.
No, it didn't at all. It was tough. It was tough as a Linklater fan because I was like, God, like, Ethan Hawke's like the individual performances were good. They were these are great actors. Just something about the story fell flat for me. I remember you and I were like, was this a play? Like, is this based on a play? I think that and it's not, but like in those one room over 1 hour or night or whatever types of things are hard to pull off.
Yeah.
But like, he's done it so well before. So I was a little shocked. Yeah.
It really felt like somebody else blocked it out and he filmed it. Like, it didn't feel like
I didn't feel like
the way it was shot.
No. Yeah, I was disappointed. Appreciated that it was a story about someone that was kind of relatively like kind of left behind as far as like being, what am I trying to say? Being like a part of like the zeitgeist, I guess, of like that time.
Yeah,
That's such a clunky
ultimately
way of
forgotten
saying
now. Like,
that. Yeah.
hugely influential major partner to somebody who everybody knows, the other duo. Like, oh, did you
Yeah.
know? And the songs that they quote that he wrote, you're like, yeah, I know that song. I just
Yeah.
never stopped to think who the hell wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so precious.
He wasn't the household. Right. Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't like the household name. And I appreciate a movie about like an underdog, but I found his character so annoying. And I know that was the point, but just wasn't, I think for someone to be annoying or for like the protagonist to maybe be like an unlikable character, like usually there's something redeemable at least. But I kind of just felt like we were meant to feel bad for him. Like I kind of just was like, oh, that's really cringy. But why else am I invested here? Yeah.
Yeah, and like all of the decisions when things go bad for that character are really his fault. He doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't know what to say. And for someone who can write lyrics, how are you so bad at knowing what to say? And the whole subplot of like him being pathetic around Margot Qualley was like,
yeah. I thought she would have more to do with the story. Yeah.
But you know, it was what it was. Sometimes they throw one in there where you're like, I guess you had to nominate this one. I would have nominated stuff from No Other Choice. In my
opinion. Sorry, messing with my bags. Oh, they're driving me crazy. I know. I was really bummed that Sorry Baby wasn't nominated for anything, but Blue Moon was. Yeah.
Like, is there a technicality that I misunderstand that kept that like something we don't know as to why it couldn't? Was it out at the wrong time? Was it already like because that really definitely should have been nominated.
Similarly with Last Showgirl, which was pretty early in the year, and I know did not receive the most. I don't think it received a lot of critical acclaim, but it was more independent. You know, it was Gia Coppola, so it's like her movies are usually more understated and like a lot more indie.
Was that the Pamela Anderson one?
Yeah, and Pamela Anderson. Was that
last year? Yes, I got the screener from them. It was all last year. Yeah. That's where you're like, is that
okay? Good. I was like
somehow qualifying for next year. That's why Sorry Baby didn't get nominated. Like somehow, I think it has to do with like there needs to be a period of time when it's released and a certain size of the release. So if Sorry Baby didn't get enough large scale release, it might not have qualified. In which case, it could be released in that way, and then it would qualify in the year and the time in which it was released in that way.
That makes more sense. I do. Yeah, like it's always hard when one comes out at the beginning of the year or like at like the end of the year. Like I know that they do it to to like help them with like awards, but then I'm kind of like, wait, what counts for what year? Yeah.
And then you find out something where like, oh no, they did release it in August, but we didn't get to see it until December because they wanted it to be the last thing on everyone's mind.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of still on my mind, the other film that we watched, the last one we'll talk about before we hype into Napoleon Dynamite, Begonia. I haven't stopped thinking about that film.
You really liked Begonia. Yeah.
I usually am so on the fence about Yorgos Lanthimos that that in and of itself is interesting because I'm usually like, he's a kooky guy and, you know, some of those ideas were great. The cinematography, I don't know where it went after that. But this one I was just like, oh, yes.
It went so many places I did not expect. And I think that is like the common thread through all of his movies I've seen. When people are like, Begonia was so like out of character. And admittedly, I was kind of like that. I was like, this is really fucking weird for Yorgos. But then I thought more about it and I was like, no, but that through line kind of is there. Not that you even need that as a director. It's not like you need a through line through all of your stuff, but yeah, his stuff is like kind of just always about this person like on the fringes of like society, and it just gets weird. It gets so weird.
Yeah.
The Lobster's probably my favorite though. Yeah,
I still need to see Lobster. That's the one that
You'll appreciate that one. Yeah,
because even what is the one with Emma Stone that was the first one they did together? It was based on the book.
The Favorite.
Maybe I'm thinking of the second one.
Poor Things.
Poor Things. I want to say Pretty Little Things.
Poor Things.
Different thing. Pretty Little Liars. Yorgos Lanthimos' Pretty Little Liars is something
I would watch that.
watch.
I would watch that. Can you imagine?
Sometimes
Locked
my brain
in.
is just barely
Gossip Girl.
barely a Boolean word search. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the same, right? Yeah.
Yeah, let's just throw it together and see what happens. Yeah.
Werner Herzog's Gossip Girls. Sign me the fuck up. And all of these films are now actually out on streaming, so there isn't even like, you need a special screener. Begonia's on Peacock, which feels...
Oh, that's
like,
really
that's
weird.
too weird to be on Peacock, guys.
Yeah, I would have thought it would go Hulu, like most of his other ones, but interesting.
Hulu is owned by Disney. There's no version of the world where Disney is interested in the Yorgos Lanthimos.
Very true, yeah.
Yeah. And then, God, I'm pretty sure Blue Moon is also out on HBO Max, but you'd have to double check on that one. And One Battle After Another is out on HBO Max and has been for a while, so definitely worth watching the first two. Maybe miss Blue Moon. I don't know.
If you had to rank them, and I think I know your answer, like from favorite to least favorite, what would they be out of the three that we watched?
Oh, it's Begonia, then One Battle After Another, then Blue Moon. I think One Battle After Another is amazing and it's really well shot. It's just a little long for me, and I didn't find it as groundbreaking as I found Begonia. I was like, I really
I really appreciated the ending of Begonia without giving anything away. Yeah. Yes. It was a satisfying ending. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, do I talk about that with the audience? Do I tell them that? The ending is so different and satisfying because you don't usually get that kind of ending that I could feed myself off. Like, it made me hopeful for filmmaking again, which is like, oh, I think Everything Everywhere at Once did that for me. No Other Choice did that for me. I haven't laughed so hard at something so dark. I was like, we can still do this. We can still look at trauma and make a good statement and do a good thing.
And it was funny. Like, it was very absurdist and very funny. So he has a great sense of humor.
Did you get to see it?
Oh, wait. No Other Choice? No, I haven't seen it. I was talking about Yorgos and
yes, Begonia. Begonia you don't think is going to be funny, especially if you just saw Kinds of Kindness, which is so anxiety riddled and like panicky as to be like, oh my God, did the Safdie brothers hang out with you while you made this? Is Ari Aster the co-director? Right. So this was like watchable and curious and weird and fun and like to the point where I have to make my husband watch it, even though after his second Yorgos Lanthimos, he swore never again.
What was the one that made him say that?
We went to see Kinds of Kindness in the theater because I had to be on the podcast to talk about it the next day. After halfway into the second vignette, he stood up and walked out and said, I'm going to go sleep in the car.
Man, Scott, a girl boss is going to girl boss.
I have been known to protest films in a similar manner. If we're there with a group of people and I think the movie absolutely sucks and I'm mad, you will watch me purposefully go to sleep. And I barely ever sleep. So I'll just like cross my arms and settle into my coat and then just go to sleep.
And then just like pass out.
Fuck this. You can't make me watch.
Yeah, this is my protest. I'm closing my eyes.
Have you ever walked out of a movie?
God, have I ever walked out of a movie? If I did, it was for like a lame reason, like being late to something else or like logistics. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. And I'm trying to think if I've ever fell asleep in one. My sister fell asleep during the Elvis movie, which made me laugh so hard because that movie, like all Baz Luhrmann movies, is so loud and intense. And I was like, how is this the one? But probably as a kid or something. But I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think my ranking would go One Battle After Another, Begonia, Blue Moon. If you would have told me that was going to be my order, I would have been like, you're crazy, because I'm not always the biggest PTA fan.
Yeah.
And there were a few things about One Battle After Another where I was like, did we like really need that? And, such is life. I really, really liked the story. And I thought Chase Infinity was so good. I want to see her in more things. She was
Yeah,
incredible.
I'm sad that she didn't get nominated for an Oscar
Right.
for her role in that. There are a
I know.
couple of snubs on that make me feel a little like.
Yeah.
Well, this makes me excited to get you to watch other stuff of his too, because if you like that, guess what,
Yes.
girl? Get him in a Boogie Nights, a movie that's edited down to a reasonable time.
Yes. Boogie Nights, Magnolia, and There Will Be Blood is one I wanted to see for a really long time because it's got like all my favorite actors in it. So yeah.
That one's a little like drier than the other two, if I
Mm-hmm.
had to say, but it is ultimately one of my 5-star films, and we have done an episode on it. I had a friend of mine come and watch it. That's Brett Kelly, the cartoon artist who lives in East Hampton as well. We came and we watched that together. He'd just never seen it because he assumed it was like pretentious as hell,
Oh
and then
yeah.
actually upon watching it, we were like, oh, there's fucking a lot of good stuff here. That's great. So, speaking of assuming a film is pretentious or perhaps not liking something because everyone likes something, Napoleon Dynamite. Why didn't I watch Napoleon Dynamite? I think
Why?
also, like, okay, so one of the interesting facts about Napoleon Dynamite is that they made them redo the opening sequence, the part where you see everybody's names, the credits.
Why?
Originally, the film was supposed to just start. They didn't have a credit sequence. They were just like, just start the film. We're an indie film. We're just going to, it's a vibe. We're going to just go with it. And when Searchlight picked it up, they were like, no, absolutely not. Okay. And so, and they also said, like, we don't know when this movie is set. You've got stuff that seems like the 70s, seems like the 80s. You're using movies, they're using soundtracks from different time periods. Some things are new, some things are old. We need you to tell us when this movie is set. So without having to reshoot anything, they shot a title sequence of the food coming out. And then at the end, you see Napoleon take his little card out and look at it. And it says the years that he was in high school, 2001 to 2004. That's when the movie is roughly set.
Yeah.
Ironically, they shot it using John Heder's hands to put the food out. And Fox watched the dailies and they're like, his hands are really weird looking. We're going to send you a hand model.
No way.
And then they shot it again with the hand model, except the skin color didn't match. And they wanted it to seem like it was Napoleon's hands. So they had one of the executives who complained again. They're like, get your ass down here.
Yeah, well then
You
you're gonna
film
do
it again.
Yeah.
And they just used cuts from, so it looks like it's just 3 different hands.
I didn't even notice that. I did wonder to
Neither did
myself.
I.
I was like, is that really John Heder? But that's so funny.
Some
Why
of
do they
them-
always have such weird little demands, right? It's so interesting. I mean, I get needing credits, but being that particular about hands, you know?
I used to be a hand and foot model for knitwear for a company called Story Publishing. And it is so incredibly weird. Of course, why not, right?
Of course, yeah. Of course you have.
I was a knitwear designer at the time, so they were looking for people who knew how to knit, who had hands that looked okay. And the rules as to what looked okay, how your nails could be, how long your nails could be, and like, it's so stupid because people get so weird when they look at a photo and the hand is weird. And you're like, not supposed to look at the hand, you're supposed to look at what the hand is holding.
Holding, right. Like your eyes shouldn't really be going there, but you freaks.
But anyway.
Yeah.
This movie is set right when I leave for college. So I'm not in high school, I'm just a little bit older. And it came out the year after I graduated from college. So, like, everything about this movie just seemed like it was kind of like Pokemon. I legitimately understand that Pokemon is great. I'm just too old to have been part of the zeitgeist that embraced it when it came out. And so I missed Napoleon Dynamite. I was busy working like 17 shifts at Fitzwilly's. And so I
And of course you worked there too.
Fitzwilly's, it's a great place to work. It's a terrible place to eat. Don't eat there. We've spit in the food.
If you're ever in Northampton, Massachusetts, do not go to Fitzwilly.
Dude, if you're in Northampton, Massachusetts, there are 40 restaurants. If you're going to go to Fitzwilly's, just go to fucking McDonald's. Ugh. So, like, I assumed, and I did this with another show that came out roughly the same time too, Parks and Recreation. I didn't watch Parks and Recreation when it came out because I thought it was like The Office. And
same,
a lot of
exactly the same.
The Office is really based on we're laughing at people. We're laughing at this weird guy we work at. We're laughing, like, if you go back and watch The Office, Jim is really, really fucked up. And I'm pretty sure Dwight is on the spectrum and deserves, but then he does stuff that's sociopathic. Like, some of these people need to go to jail, and they're just like really, really mean. Everybody's so mean spirited. The comedy is Schadenfreude, which is this German comedy for, like, I think it's funny when people are going through shit, like bad stuff. It's fun to laugh at that.
Yeah.
But Parks and Recreation is kind of, at least as it gets out of season 1, which was very shaky, sweet. And about like embracing the weirdness of these people. Yeah, just started at season 2. You can absolutely.
And there's real storylines. I would argue, look, I'll probably catch flack for this, but I have always found The Office so boring. Can I be really honest? Like, I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype. I don't think it's funny. I think it's like kind of like just humiliation comedy, you know? Like, there's not really a lot of depth. I think, like, I mean, the Jim and Pam storyline is adorable. And I think that there are some really cool moments of, like, improvisation. Like, I think everyone individually are good actors. But it fell so flat for me. But Parks and Rec, same here. I missed the boat when it was coming out. And then, yeah, I revisited it, like, 3 years ago and loved it. Binged it. Loved it.
It's a very easy comfort watch show because it feels like the people care about each other, and you can kind of form a parasocial relationship with those characters.
Yeah.
I think, and again, we'll go for another hot take, I think The Office has aged worse than Friends when you go back to watch it, as far as, like, I don't think you could have these plot lines. This is some pretty, like, Friends is at best milquetoast and doesn't have difficult plot lines. The Office is just like, some stuff is just not age well.
Aging worse than Friends is such a good burn.
Yeah, sorry guys. And I think that if you really liked The Office and you were like super into the Pam and Jim relationship, you were probably popular in high school. Cool. Good for you. Everyone else, this is like, I love watching the two hot people fall in love. Whatever. Yeah, right. They're so normal, it kind of gets a little boring.
They're so normal that, like, I was like, God, am I just, like, vain and shallow? Like, do I just want, like, only aspirational, like storylines and content? Or, yeah, I don't know. Or am I just, or are they just boring? They're
boring, because look at Leslie Knope's character when she meets Ben.
Character. Yeah.
That relationship, the two of them coming together, and how much better they make each other and how they embrace the weirdnesses in each other. And so, like, for me to have missed Napoleon Dynamite is truly a fucking blind spot, because if there is one thing that this movie is about, it's about everyone being weird, even in ways that are not enjoyable weird. We're not talking manic pixie. People are going to have character traits about them that are not great. But they're still going to have character traits that are good, and that makes this whole person that we can embrace. The entire town is on the freaking spectrum.
Yeah. And I also love that, like, they have, not that they don't have a real job at the office, but, like, kind of part of the joke is, like, that it's not, like, really that intense of a place to work. Whereas, I don't know, there's real consequences and there's real, like, ownership of what they do in Parks and Rec. So you feel like there's a sense of, like, urgency, I guess. It's not just a bunch of bored people in an office playing pranks on one another. I mean, there's a little of that and, like, poking fun at office culture, but it doesn't, like, the show doesn't heavily hinge on only that, I guess is my point.
It does allow the geekiness to be cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Leslie Knope's insane interest in public
like
service.
Obsession.
Yeah. It's much more, let's say, responsible or realistic than The Office is, as far as, like, a representation of work.
Yeah.
I don't like when the comedy is really mean-spirited. And so I really, really assumed that Napoleon Dynamite was going to be pretty mean-spirited. And then also, while researching this, I found out, and, like, perhaps this got into my subconscious, I often will be part of this. Like, I didn't read any of the Harry Potters until like until like the second to last one was out, because I was like, I'm not gonna do something that everyone else is doing. There was this whole subculture wave of Napoleon Dynamite being the thing everyone was into, and then it became cool to not be into it.
Oh, interesting. See, I love that we're having this conversation because we have a bit of an age difference. And so I was in 4th grade when it came out, maybe 5th grade by the time it was like distributed. And so I didn't have any of that context. Like, this was just like, either I saw it in theaters or I saw it on DVD for the first time. I can't remember. But this was just like a funny movie I went to go see that I got obsessed with. And I wasn't really a part of like that greater conversation. So I didn't realize that actually. So it was kind of like uncool. Or wait, no, you're saying that it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, if you know about it, like, you're cool.
It came to be so ubiquitously loved that like you could try and build social cachet by being obstructionist about it. Like the hot take was to be like, you know what? Napoleon Dynamite was never funny. And like,
like you're kind of like above the humor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Okay. Like you just want to be oppositional to a mainstream belief.
Yeah.
To be contrarian. Like, oh, the plebes loved that.
Yeah. It's like when you meet people and they think SpongeBob is like really juvenile and lame, and I'm like, that's the entire point, but okay. Live your life. Yeah.
Yeah. And you make this judgment call on something you haven't engaged in at all because it gets so shoved down your throat. I think another great example is like if you are a woman and you are starting to get into film studies and you meet the film bro in the wild, you might have them come up to you and start talking about the film The Big Lebowski. And if you've never seen The Big Lebowski, you might learn that you might never want to see The Big Lebowski. You might learn to hate it in your bones because of the way the person is talking to you about it. And it is I can't stress enough, fantastic film. I love that movie, but I got to see it before I met Film Bros. I have had people talk to me about it in a way that made me want to hate the movie. But you know what I mean? Like it's just, or even Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the television show. I hate that show because the fans are so fucking annoying.
I'm trying to think of what I have like a similar thing with. I almost want to say The Godfather, which I feel like is the ultimate film bro movie. Like that's like the hill they all die on. I don't know if you watch Overcompensating, but it's that really, really good show on Prime made by Benito Skinner. He was like an internet sort of like comedian for a while, and then he is super talented as an actor, director, writer. And there's like a whole part of that show where he takes an intro to film studies class because he likes a guy, and then everyone has to go around and say their favorite movie, and all the guys are just like, The Godfather Part 1, or like The Godfather Part 2, and it's like a whole thing. And so I didn't encounter that because The Godfather, we're both Italian, so you might relate to this. The Godfather was just always on at my grandpa's house. Like, it was just on a loop, I swear. So I actually for a long time didn't think that I had seen it, and then watched it and was like, oh my God, this is all like burned into my brain. So I had a different relationship to that movie. I think like it kind of just like, I didn't take it as seriously, I guess, maybe as like in film bro culture. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a very unique relationship with The Godfather, which is just completely not normal. My parents met as actors in New York City. They were doing a production of, to pause for a second, because Ash is attacking the door.
Ash, come on in.
He's in. Because he has such a crush on you. He has to say hello. It's Victoria.
Ash.
You never come to say hello.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Baby. Are you happy now? Go sit by the fire.
I wish my cat would love on me like that. He's so not. He's like, please, my space.
God, he's so lovely lately. He's like constantly cuddling back into The Godfather. So, interesting relationship with The Godfather, which is to say that my parents met as actors in New York City, and The Godfather kind of came out right when they were dating, and it's a really big and important film to them. And my family, let's just go with, is mafia, like near, adjacent, around.
Adjacent, yeah.
whatever. To what extent? The photos of their wedding have all these pictures of people that look like extras from The Godfather. And if you ask my mom, who is Irish, my dad is Italian, which is such a
Yeah.
Capulet and Montague thing to have done in the time when they got married, she'll go, I have no idea it was one of your grandfather's friends who was supposed to be there, which usually just means like, it was probably a mafia guy. Yeah. There is a music box above their bed that has been there since the dawn of time, and it plays the song that played for their first dance, which is the love theme to Godfather. That's how important this movie is to them. I have made my dad one promise, and despite our contentious relationship, I have kept this one promise to him, which is that I will never see Godfather Part 3. I'm not allowed.
You've never seen Godfather Part 3?
I'm not allowed to. Wow, he's so losing it. I'm not allowed to see it.
Ash.
Just
You're not
jumping
allowed
around.
I know, well, because, I mean, it's you're really not missing a lot. But you are missing Sofia Coppola's, like, one of her only acting roles, so...
Nope. 1 and 2 are so perfect that he wishes to give me the gift of never having to know 3.
It's really
He's like,
kind of him. Yeah.
Don't. I'm also not allowed to watch The Sopranos.
I cannot watch The Sopranos. I think I'll have PTSD war flashbacks if I watch The Sopranos. I'll go into fight or flight because I have a regulated nervous system now, and you know how Italians are. Oh my gosh, it's so stressful.
Yeah. No, my dad says it's I don't agree with the representation of Italian Americans at the time period, and I think it's, bless his heart. I do think, actually, I was there recently, and he said, you know, in this episode of The Sopranos, and I was like, did you watch an episode of The Sopranos?
Hey, yeah, like, which is it? Yeah, I'm on to you. Yeah.
I'm on to you. I mean, what he watches is hilarious, because he'll either want to talk about a show like that, or a show like Call the Midwife, which is on BBC.
Oh my god, don't even get me started. That's really funny. Don't even get me started. I would, like, my dad is, like, just such a stereotypical Italian dude, and I would walk in and he'd be, like, watching The Hills. It'd either be, like, The Hills, or it would be, like, Sopranos, or, like, Entourage, or Californication, or whatever. Yeah. No in between, though. One time I walked in and he was watching Blue Crush 2. Not even the original one. The one in South Africa. And I was like, what are you watching?
So one time we had gotten a whole new cable package, and it was when they started doing expanded versions of things, like you would get HBO Latino, HBO horror.
Oh yeah.
And so we had Showtime, and they would abbreviate them. And my dad didn't understand the abbreviation. So like SHO and then H meant horror. Well, there was one that was SHO, and then the last letter was a W capitalized, and he thought it was Showtime proper. So he would come home from work, put it on, watch whatever movie it was. And like 4 months into this going on, he won't stop talking about his love of Kevin Costner and all of Kevin Costner's films. And we realized he's been watching Showtime for women. That's what the W was.
Hey, I feel like a good cinephile, a good film lover watches everything. And you try not to have a closed mind. So there we go, Dad.
There we go.
Even though he wasn't trying to. Like, okay, Dad. Yeah.
We went to the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum like a couple months later after realizing he was watching Showtime W. Two-part. Both, he demanded to have his photo taken with the Kevin Costner statue that was there because they're besties now.
Was it like The Bodyguard or something? Like, what was he watching? I'm trying to think of like rom-coms that Kevin
All
Costner's
of them.
in.
Not just rom-coms. He was watching like Dances with Wolves, The Postman,
right.
All of his like heartthrobby
Classics.
stuff. Isn't he also in Field of Dreams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that kind of stuff. Because you're watching Field of Dreams, you're like, I don't know, maybe this is just regular Showtime, and then all this it just goes down and down. He stands really still, and he's just an asshole. So he stood there after we took his photo for so long to wait until somebody else came into the room and thought he also was a wax statue, so he could move and scare them.
Dads, man.
Dads being dads.
Dads, man.
So when you grow up weird and you watch a thing like Napoleon Dynamite, you feel seen. You feel
oh my god, yeah,
so seen.
I I think there's something, not to get like fake deep or whatever, because at the end of the day, like this is such a good, I don't want to say screwball comedy, but it's just such a good like slice of life comedy, maybe is like a good way to put it. It's just like these normal people doing normal things, which I love so much. I just remember Napoleon Dynamite feeling like so accessible as like a kid. Like, oh my gosh, this is not maybe exactly my reality, but where they were like genuinely could have been Texas, and I grew up in Texas, so I think I felt like very like, oh, like comforted by this movie, and like I know these weirdos. Yeah.
Yeah, which is astounding because it's just outside of Idaho.
Yeah.
This is based on a short film that the director and John Heder made when they were at Brigham Young University, which definitely was not what I was expecting to hear. Like,
No.
oh, okay. So it feels almost
First
like
they went to
it's
right.
yeah, right, insulated from time and space. Like everyone in the town could be this weird. The
Yeah.
clothing could be from whatever decade. Like it's just so separate from us, and yet it still winds up being very relatable. And these hangout comedy things can be really hit or miss. Usually they
Oh my
happen
gosh,
on
yeah.
one day where something terrible happens to the person, and this isn't really that.
No, it's like just like this collection of like moments of his life, and it's, I mean, kind of the cool thing is that it's just a normal guy is the, and not even just a normal guy, but like a guy like sort of on the fringes, not very popular. He's the main character. I mean, you're getting to kind of live through him, which is interesting, and I think it also does such a good job at like exploring like the just not hypocrisies, but like the, and not dichotomies, what is it, like the contradictions of like suburban life. I don't know. And they did such a good job also at pointing out like very real things too. The racism that Pedro experiences like in sort of these subtle and not subtle ways. Maybe I'm going like too woke, but I was
No.
very, very impressed. These were mainly the things though that like I picked up on watching it now with like my frontal lobe fully formed. Like when I was a kid, genuinely, the draw was like, this is so funny, this is so quotable. My mom's name is Tina, so now me and my brother and my cousins are gonna yell that line at her all the time, and she's gonna get really mad. Like we were just truly, me and my brother, no, me and one of my best friends memorized the dance at the end to Jamiroquai and put it on MySpace. Oh my god, I hope that is not still on the internet. And it was just such like a cultural moment. I don't know. It's like everyone was wearing like the Vote for Pedro t-shirts. Yeah, it was just like it was such a fun pop culture moment, and it was such an underdog. No one expected it. So I think that also played to its favor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's fascinating when you think about why someone might not like this movie.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about certain things that usually make me not like a movie, but
Right.
somehow it manages to walk the line of that sort of thing and still do it correctly, which is fascinatingly strange. Yesterday I sent you an article. IndieWire did the top 30 most influential films or most important films from Sundance, and they included this. And actually that's the article that pointed me to the subculture of it being cool to dislike this film because it became so, I mean, the phrase vote for Pedro became so ubiquitous as to be graffitied on walls like Kilroy during the Second World War, or like Brooks was here after Shawshank Redemption. It was just like, you don't know what to graffiti vote for Pedro. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah. I ran for like student council in 5th grade, and I made my posters like in that style, and it said vote for Tory because that's my nickname. And I think I also did the quote at the bottom, which was like, what does Napoleon say? He's like, vote for Pedro, it'll make all your dreams come true.
Vote
or something
for me
like
and
that.
your wildest dreams will come true.
Yes, that. And so like I think I put that quote at the bottom too. And I mean, spoiler alert, I did not win. I was not very popular at that school. Yeah, it was just such like a, truly, I think the quotability is really, there's just so many lines that are like still a part of like people's vernacular now. Like people like, I feel like a lot of Kip's lines, the brother, who's one of my favorite characters, yeah, a lot of his are definitely still.
So I think you're hitting at the absolute core of why I think this movie works why it survives time, and why it continues to work with people who, like myself, who don't have the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
Echolalia. So many of the scenes can be viewed independently of other scenes because it is not straightforwardly a narrative. You could jump in, you could leave this on in the background, you could come to it wherever you wanted. If it was on TV, it didn't matter where it was going to play. They can be played alone or half, and it is genuinely fun to say the line the character has just said the way that they have said it. I do not know how that works, why there are certain things that become almost like brain viruses. It's like a computer virus that gets sent from the movie to my head, and then I have to make the noise because it's fun. It's so fun to make that noise.
And I wonder too, like as like you're touching on something. I've also never heard that word, echolalia. I really like that. You're hitting on something that I think is so like remarkable too about acting and the choices that you make with acting, because it's like you're putting a lot of trust also in your actors. Like if you're directing something comedic, in the sense that like delivery is kind of everything, timing is kind of everything. So you're really like leaning on how that person is going to say that. So it's interesting to just think about like how a choice in the moment could become this big, you know, what am I trying to say? Like this big collective saying, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with like Mean Girls. Like my mind automatically goes to like the success of Mean Girls, which was also a smaller one that ended up becoming a cult classic. Yeah.
And like, so the small distinction between those is it is very fun to quote Mean Girls. When quoting Napoleon Dynamite, one must sound like the character they are quoting. Whether it be Rick, whether it be Napoleon, whether it be Deb, whoever you're doing, you have to deliver the line the way it was delivered. The nuance of each actor's performance is so good that's part of what you're going for. And like this, again, if we're going to go into maybe we're overthinking it, but we're representing a lot of people on the spectrum with this film. When you watch this film, if you're on the spectrum, you identify with them. One of the stemming things that people on the spectrum will do to make them feel better is echolalia. So you're being given a tool to make yourself feel better while watching someone who looks like you. That's why it's your comfort movie. You feel seen and you feel like you're getting a little STEM tool to use.
Oh, you're hitting... Yeah, no, that actually... I've never really put that together, that like it really is such a comforting movie if you're on the spectrum. I think that's probably why... Honestly, okay, shout out my cousin Riley, actually, because Riley is sort of the reason that we're doing this episode. My cousin Riley texted me after she listened to our Scanner Darkly episode and was like, I cannot believe you didn't bring up Napoleon Dynamite at least one time, especially when we were talking about what movie have you rewatched the most. And I think I said Blue Crush, or I think I said, I can't remember, but she was like, I can't believe you didn't say that. And so that's kind of what got us talking about this. And her and I both consider ourselves got a touch of the tism, and it really, really like resonates, I think, for that reason, because it's so comforting to watch, especially kind of at the end where like the popular people kind of lose, and it's like there's like this appreciation of weird and like truly himself, like Napoleon and Pedro are. I don't know, there is something nice about that, about like seeing that representation. Yeah.
But even in our popular kids, she does a ASL dance to, I can't even remember the name of the song. Like that in and of itself.
Larger than life by the Backstreet Boys. Can you tell I was into boy bands?
Like in my high school, that was very popular to do like a Whitney Houston song by the like lowest class of theater people. There was all the theater people, and then there would be that one person who too weird for the rest of the theater club. It's going to come out during the talent show and do My Heart Will Go On ASL and fucking nail it. But no one is going to enjoy this.
Right,
so for that to have been the choice for the popular kids was like...
It's so funny.
No one is without reproach in this movie, and that in and of itself is fantastic. But like, I can't get over that scene at the end when all... Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Trying to trying to make my phone so my sibling never, ever texts me one text. So my phone is just like, blip, 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 bless them, on silent. I put my phone on silent, but if you don't put your watch on silent,
then you're still gonna get that notification.
then your phone's gonna
It's okay because I need like a reset. I don't know why. Like I feel like I'm like not able to find my words today.
No, you're doing good. Don't worry about it.
Here.
Let's shake it. I forgot where I was.
Oops.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about the popular kids and the choosing to do. So even the popular kids are, without reproach. They not without reproach. Like they're weird too.
So
but
weird.
when he does that dance, there is so many layers of stuff happening here. So let's stop and just talk about the production of that scene itself. And then the reaction that we have to it. Because when I was researching this, I found out that, first of all, this is shot Panavision 35 millimeter in 2003. So each one of these 35 millimeter rolls is going to cost like $600 to get it fully developed. All in is going to cost like $2,000 each. This film is done on a budget of $400,000, shot on 28 days. It makes $42 million, by the way. $42 million on a $400,000 budget. Okay, that's pretty good. John Heder was paid $1,000 flat rate. He did work out later on due to the success. Some money. An undisclosed amount was paid to make that okay. But this scene is the last thing that they shot. In the original short, Peluca, where the character is named Seth and not Napoleon Dynamite, they shot him dancing because John Heder just loves dancing. He's just really good at dancing. And he loves Jamiroquai. And they were like, damn, your dancing is so good, but it doesn't make any sense for the short. So it's not in the short. But when they went to shoot the long version, they're like, we're going to have it be the end scene. We're not going to choreograph it at all. We also are down to our last roll and our last day to film. So get up there, John. We're going to turn on the camera, and for the love of sweet Jesus, we better get it.
What? I had no idea.
And so he dances to 2 different Jamiroquai songs and a third song just so they have options. But what we get is like, and they closed the set because he was so embarrassed. He was like, I don't know. I need to take this seriously. Have it just be essential personnel and close it down. And because everyone was like so excited about seeing him dance because they heard he was a pretty good dancer, a lot of people snuck in and hid like behind the seats to watch him do his dance. And the earnest, like there's something about his dance. It's so earnest. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna yawn.
No worries.
I was actually gonna bring this up. I was wondering if it was improvised. So that makes a ton of sense. What a way to put the pressure on. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like, and he was only paid $1,000 flat fee. That bitch just nailed it. The whole reason it works is because you don't feel cringe while watching him dance. You feel this incredible joy of expression. You see him in the short. What happens is that Pedro and someone else are 2 different characters, and someone else shaves their head because of exactly what happens when Pedro shaves it. He got hot and shaved his head, and now he's embarrassed. And they go to a Salvation Army, and they only have so much money pooled together, and they find this perfect wig for his friend, but he also wishes he could buy a fanny pack. And then he decides that like his friend is more important, so he doesn't buy the fanny pack and they buy the wig, and it's great. And so he does this gesture for his friend, even though he's like this weird, awkward kid. And the gesture becomes the dance in this. He's doing that for Pedro. So like there's this earnest, like, oh, he's putting himself out on the line here, and like, oh my God, he could be so embarrassed. But the whole time you're watching it, you know for a fact that when he ends, everybody's gonna fucking lose their minds. This is the best thing you've ever seen. And when the crowd goes, I felt like I was so happy. It truly elated me to see them like embrace him.
Because it would have been totally like on par for them to just all like sit there awkwardly and be like dead face. Like that has been so much of the humor like thus far. But to actually get that win was such a gratifying way to end it. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really, really was. I enjoyed it so much.
I think I had like Mandela effect or something, because spoiler alert, if you haven't for some reason seen Napoleon Dynamite, I had a Mandela effect that Pedro did not win the but maybe I got that confused with him being like no, not denied, rejected for the dance by Summer. Maybe I was getting those mixed up, but I was like, oh my gosh, no, actually he does win.
He does win.
So that was a nice payoff.
And his like cousins who come to help him with the birthday cake, and it's so
sweet. The way his family, like, really my only thing with Napoleon Dynamite, and I get it because like the runtime is so perfect. The one thing I could have definitely used more of was like more Pedro and his family. I want to know more about them. Mm-hmm. I could have also done with like more depth, but I think the runtime is like perfect. Because that scene with his family is really sweet in the park where they get him the cake. Yeah.
I think they come out. Just the whole inclusion of the cousins is fantastic. Their support, and they're like, we're gonna get everybody's support in everyone's weirdness. Like, I'm so used to 80s versions or late 90s versions of these kinds of stories. So even in the scene when Napoleon is talking to Pedro about wanting to ask out, I think it's Trisha, the Summer's friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He says, like, I don't know what to do. And Pedro gives him earnest, good advice. He says, what's your skill? What's good about you? What can you do well? And he's like, I can draw well. And he's like, well, draw her a portrait. And it doesn't work for that reason, but the advice is so good and rooted in truth that the film finds a way to make it work anyway.
Right.
And you're like, cool. And they don't, it gets him at the dance so that he can be there with Deb because he's supposed to be with Deb. And like, it works in a way that seems more realistic to the way that we know life to work. You don't just get the hot girl because you asked. But you should ask anyway.
Right. You should ask anyway, but like it's definitely not trying to give like a warm and fuzzy after school special, like sort of like that's not the point. Yeah. I do like that it's realistic. I love you were kind of touching on this earlier, but I also like love the what's the word I'm looking for? I love the just like how you don't know what time it's set in. What is that? What is that word I'm trying to think of? My brain is so fried.
A detachment from time.
Or like, is it ubiquitous?
Yeah, I think that could ubiquitous like could exist at any time period. Let's check.
I know. Wait. Oh yeah, I can just Google it.
Ubiquitous. Found everywhere.
Transcending time.
Hold on. I'm gonna use the bathroom really quick while we look this up.
Amazing.
I've done too much shelter.
Ageless.
What you got?
Timeless. What was the word I was trying to think of?
I was like,
but also the word.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me insane.
I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm sleep deprived, and I need to like shake out like my yawns and stuff.
Sometimes it's like I yawn when I'm nervous.
Oh my god. I know. I felt like I was flowing so much better in the first one. I gotta like.
Okay, we'll shake it off. I think you make a really good point. You make a really good point about it being like it doesn't really have a time period, even though they do. Fox made them tell us when it is really shot. Yeah. Like, because these comedies from the periods, it feels like it could be from the 80s, from the 90s. They're so much meaner than this comedy would be if this was like Revenge of the Nerds. It's just mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely think things would have played out differently. That's for sure. And it's kind of nice that they set it like when the actual time was that it came out, but I wonder like if that was intentional, like if they were actually thinking of, you know, in like an earlier time, because a lot of like the cars and stuff are 80s or 90s looking. So
yeah. Jared Hess and his wife wrote it based on their experience when they went to high school. They had just graduated from Brigham Young University when the short film came out 2 years prior to this. So that would make them exactly my age. So this is definitely set in the like early mid-90s in reality, but they're mushing the time period around a little. Yeah, it does feel like a Trapper Keeper belongs there. I mean, their houses would ridiculous. It's so dated.
It's so dated. Yeah. Yeah. I also just love that they live with their grandma and they never explain what happened to their, like, why they don't live with their parents. It's just like, no, they live with their lesbian grandma in rural Idaho, and we're just gonna, like, even when the uncle comes in, we have no idea if he, like, who he's related to, like, anything about the family. Everything is just sort of presented to you, and you're like, yep, I believe it.
Just go with it. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And the lesbian and the grandmother is played by the actress who plays Mac's mom on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No way.
Yeah, so I had a hard time not seeing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Mac's mom. She's fucking crazy.
I thought that was like such a good like addition, and also fix yourself a damn quesadilla was something that one of my aunts would say all the time whenever me and my cousins were over at her house. That is like seared into my brain.
Yeah,
it's yourself a damn quesadilla.
There were, having never seen this, there were definitely lines where I was like, oh, that's why everyone kept saying that exactly like that. And fix yourself a damn quesadilla was one where I was like, oh, heard that one before. Then also, yes.
Yeah.
Which is also very fun. Yeah, they had a lot of good actors in. I mean, Heder isn't really anybody we knew at the time. The actress who played Deb was the little girl in Waterworld. I had never seen really the guy who played his older brother. Then, of course, John Gryers from Real Genius and tons of other stuff played the uncle, which had I known he was in this film the whole time, I would have just watched it. I love him.
It's really cool too because there's sort of like a weird Mike White connection, like because so
say more words.
I know, right? Well, I know, isn't that crazy? The connections around this movie are so interesting. But like, I remember watching White Lotus season 2 like a couple years ago, and when I saw John Gryas, I was like, why does he look so familiar? I know he's a famous actor, but he is so familiar. And then I put it together, or maybe I saw it like on Instagram or TikTok, that he's Uncle Rico. So the guy who's married to Tanya in White Lotus, that's him. And so I was like, oh, that's so cool, because Nacho Libre, one of my favorite movies.
You're watching in real time. You're watching in real time. You realize that the guy in White Lotus is Uncle Rico.
That's Uncle Rico. How crazy is that? Yeah.
He's Laszlo Holyfield.
Because he's wearing that like crazy wig as Uncle Rico.
He's wearing a wig in all the other roles I know him as.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think that's why a lot of people didn't recognize him, because he's bald AF in White Lotus. Yeah.
He's the one reoccurring character in all seasons of White Lotus. How did I fucking miss that? Superb. Mind blown. I'm sorry to interrupt you. My mind is on
that
the
never
floor.
happens, by the way. Katie is always the one making me mind blown, because you have like an encyclopedic knowledge of film.
Just can't see him.
But it's even crazier. But even crazier is that I really feel like John. How do you say his last name? Gryas?
Gryas? Do you pronounce the S? Gryas? I'm not sure.
Gryas.
My number one comments on YouTube Shorts are people yelling at me for saying a word wrong. So I'm always, who fucking knows?
Whatever. So the reason I think that John Gryas is on White Lotus is because of Mike White, obviously. So Jared Hess wrote and directed another one of my favorite comedies, kind of in a similar comedic vein, Nacho Libre,
yes.
Which Mike White obviously worked heavily on. So I'm kind of like, wait. This world is so small. And once you get that one piece, you start to just like see the whole picture. So I really feel like there's some type of like connection there. I
believe
Nacho Libre is such a good comedy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So good. And such good like dry humor. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Mike White as well. I hope he wins the next season of Survivor.
Oh, yeah. He's the best.
They're probably going to vote him off so fast. They're going to be like, Mike White, the millionaire with a incredibly get your ass off.
Yeah, you're gone. We need this.
Maybe they'll have a redemption island and we'll get him back. I am so deep in Survivor lore, I can't be trusted to talk about
That was
anything
another
else.
one that I was like, I'm just double checking what else Jared Hess has done, because I'm like, I think that was the only other thing that I knew of.
He hasn't really done very much.
Not that much.
Lately.
The Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you get paid.
Get your bag. Yeah, I'm like, get your bag. Honestly.
Get your bag, honestly. They did try and make this into an animated short where we explore Napoleon's life after, because like you had said, you would love to know more about Deb. You would love to know more about Pedro. And they tried to do that with an animated show, but they put it on Thursday, then they put it on Saturday, then they moved it to Sunday. They only aired 6 episodes, but they aired it on 6 different days. And would you believe they didn't have an audience? And so they canceled it.
Such a missed opportunity.
The animation was pretty good. I liked it. The whole original cast came back to do all of their voices. I enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
Something we haven't talked about that I really liked, that while I was watching, I was like, oh no, is this where the movie is going to tip over into being mean? And it didn't.
Yeah.
Was his brother's relationship with LaFonda. Like, I was so worried he was going to be catfished and that woman wasn't going to walk off the bus.
Yeah, same. I remember thinking it's either going to be, which is like, really speaks to the misogyny at the time. I remember thinking she's either going to be like very busted looking or it's going to be a guy. Because haha, gay people are always at the expense of every joke in the early 2000s. Shocker. And so then when this like breathtaking, beautiful woman gets off the bus, I was like, thank God. I was like, we needed this. We needed a win. Like, suddenly now Kip is a lot cooler. Yeah.
And she genuinely likes Kip. It isn't like a game. She isn't there to try and get something. She's just like...
the most shocking part, to be honest.
She gives him the necklace. She's so, like... the love of a good woman.
The love of a good woman. It'll change you. I mean, the way that he leaves Idaho kills me. Like, he literally leaves Idaho and moves to Detroit. Doesn't even say goodbye, by the way, to Napoleon. He just sees him boarding the bus and he's like, cool.
But there's something about, like, he knows that that's so right. Napoleon's like...
He's like...
That's the right choice for this character. Everybody in this jumps headfirst in, even if... Like, there's a level of confidence that it's not entirely earned, but you can succeed pretty well in life if you have an almost... idiotic level of confidence.
Yeah, exactly. I think that plays out for like each character, which is, I mean, again, not to get all English professor, but we're analyzing it. Like, Napoleon gets to dance and like show up for his friend and like have things work out. Pedro gets what he wanted. Kip gets what he wanted. Uncle Rico, I guess, that's a weird ending. I still don't really fully understand what happens to Uncle Rico, but like whoever that woman is who walks up, but then like especially for Deb too, like Deb gets like the courage to like actually be like, I like you, and like I want, at least that we can infer from the ending. But yeah,
it gives us a lot of like loose inferences where like we know that Uncle Rico is very weird and sad. There's a sadness about him going back to just throwing that ball at the video camera for who to watch with the broken arm, and like even in his stupid sadness, little rays of hope can wind up coming into his day-to-day. It's like, that's kind of how Napoleon Dynamite feels. Like, man, we're all fucked up and we're all a little weird. And if you just keep embracing it, some of the days will be better than other days.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a lovely message to be giving to kids at the time. I think it's so funny how I so very much thought this was just going to be about making fun of this really weird guy.
Yeah.
Other fun trivia that I learned was, because obviously John Hader's hair is straight. He permed it for the short, and they were like, cool, do you want to do that again? And he's like, yeah, I got it. I can do it myself. And he did it incorrectly. And so when he showed up for the first day of the shoot, he had just permed his hair. And instead of having the tight little curls that he's supposed to, he had Shirley Temple curls. And they had to get so Jared Hess and his wife, I'm forgetting her name, I'll put it in the after notes. She permed his hair a second time correctly. But because they had literally just permed his hair, he couldn't wash it for 3 weeks for fear that it could fall out. So the entire time that they're filming, and it was incredibly hot in Idaho, John Heder could not wash his hair. And by the end, they were losing takes because like flies were coming out of his hair, and he smelled so bad. So when he's like,
my God,
dripping in sweat in that dance scene, he hasn't been able to shower for fucking 3 weeks. Well, shower his body, not his hair.
Or yeah. Oh my God. I would, like, the commitment. I mean, because what else are you going to do, really? It's like, well, I'm not going to perm it a third time. Your hair's going to fall out.
And we have so little money, we definitely can't do a wig budget here.
No. Yeah. No. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, because his hair is, like, one of the most, like, that's probably, like, the most iconic part of his look. Yeah.
Yeah, because we equate nerds with, like, kinky hair and weird glasses. Like, it's what's funny is, as I go to put on my weird glasses that I had for this, but I forgot to be wearing earlier because they are prescription. Like, I had said I wanted to look like the child of Napoleon and Deb.
You succeeded.
Thank you.
I got the reference immediately.
He's not necessarily that smart. Like, we get the idea that he's doing fine in school, but we don't get the feeling that it's like a real genius situation or any kind of like, this guy is like, I guess he's very good at noticing when milk has bleach in it.
Yeah, we just really fast moved on from that. I was like, did he just drink bleach? Yeah. Well, I think like with this, you're hitting on like something that I love about the movie Booksmart also. Directed by Olivia Wilde from 2019, I think. Yeah. I think like watching Napoleon Dynamite for the first time, probably in like 10 to 15 years, I was like, oh my gosh, this is subverting that nerd stereotype that he's going to be like this crazy genius though. Like that's his redeeming thing. But no, actually his redeeming thing is just like, he's a guy who loves and shows up for his friends and like is just kind of living his weird life in Idaho. And Booksmart really subverted that whole nerd stereotype as well. I think everything was so binary when we got these teen movies in like the 80s and 90s. So it's like you are either this or you are this. And if you are not cool, there is no redemption for you, and we're gonna like or I guess not always. I'm thinking of like Karate Kid. Like I'm like whatever. Anyway, I'm getting lost on a tangent now. But like Booksmart, it's like the cool kids also are really smart and going to good colleges. Is like kind of more my point. So like that's happening in Napoleon. Yeah.
I will take your Karate Kid tangent for a hot second there and be like, I do not think that the main character of that deserves to be the protagonist. Because we both are from sports backgrounds, right?
Oh my God, right.
Imagine showing up to a tournament that you have trained months, if not years for. And some dumbass who's been training for like 3 months wants to show up. And first of all, you do not get seated in a bracket where you just get to fight the guy you're the most mad at. That's not how that works. And then you're going to beat everybody because you've trained for 3 months. There are people who've been training since they were 2. That is so stupid and they so like, belittling to the concept of sports and the concept of martial arts that like, I see you, Karate Kid.
Yeah, you're like, that would not have flown. And also like, that just wouldn't have, that's just also like not how it works. Yeah, like kind of like to your point. Yeah, and it's also like, like the consequences are so extreme. It's like everything had to be in such extremes in these movies. Like the cool popular kids then are gonna get like he's gonna lose his scholarship or whatever happens to the kid in Karate Kid or whatever. Or then it's like the nerd is gonna like win and get the girl at the end. So it's like, I don't know, it's like it's cool to see what can exist in between that. That's kind of what I'm most interested in as a film viewer and a filmmaker, is like what's happening between these two extremes though. Because so much exists there.
I think you hit the heart of why it's so important that at the end we don't necessarily see Deb and Napoleon officially get together. Because we don't want to end this movie with the boy gets the girl. Although you could also argue that the girl gets the boy because Deb has been doing her own like self-search and getting to this point. So like it just puts us in a place where both of those characters have access to more options. And instead of ending it so very traditionally and being like, it's got to end with marriage because that's how you
Like,
have a happy ending.
no one has imaginations who's watching this. I hate when people assume audiences are stupid. We've talked about this so many times. How will they ever get it, girl?
Mm-hmm. Well, did you see the article from Matt Damon talking about Netflix?
Maybe, but remind me.
So, and this is one of those things where, like, it comes with a grain of hypocrisy because he's also signed a bunch of deals with Netflix to make movies. But in the contracts that he has signed, they demand a certain number of times in the movie where they will stop and re-explain what has already happened.
That's in the contract?
Netflix is saying, we release these and we know that people are doing something else while they're watching. These are second screen options. So if you do not keep explaining, you're gonna lose people. And so we are literally seeing movies and television become dumber. And I get so mad. I got into such a fight on Instagram about the concept of an exposition dump because people are legitimately so into this idiocy that they're like, it's not bad storytelling. I'm like, well, put your fucking phone down. I had to watch the last hour of this show. This is like an as seen on in the middle of my movie.
Granted, when I am watching a movie, or like when I used to be watching cable TV, like let's say I was watching Lost or something, like I did every Wednesday night with like my grandma, and then like my mom would walk in and be like, what's happening? Or like would come sit down for like 5 minutes and be like, now what's happening? It's like, okay, yes, those exposition moments, like I get who they're there for. Like they're good for people who are kind of like half in, half out watching, kind of to your point, but also like just watch the show. Just watch the show, you know?
And also, if you're lost, that's your fault. You didn't watch the fucking thing. Since when do we have to go back and save everyone who didn't pay attention?
Right. Or on the other side of that, if you and this person are watching it for the first time together, and then they're asking you what is happening, and you're like, I don't have a time machine. I didn't like watch it without you and then come back to this moment to answer your questions, girl. What? Yeah.
That is a dangerous thing to do with me because if you piss me off enough, I will just metagame and answer you and be like, I don't know, the whole movie is probably someone's dream given the runtime and the fact that this person wrote it and this person's starring it and it started this way.
Dump, and they're like,
and then they're like, and that's exactly what it winds up being, even though neither of us have seen it. So don't ask me that question.
Oh, so you guess it for real. I would just start saying things to throw them off. Like, I don't know, I think that's like her dad. Just start throwing them off. One other thing too, before I forget, I was going to say, I don't know if maybe you're getting to this, but I wanted to talk about physical media too for a second.
Oh yeah, totally. Sure,
and about DVD sales.
Because that's what really helped this movie, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I want to talk about this because I think this is like such a cool fact about this movie that I didn't know till we were going to do this episode, and I was doing some research that I figured this out. But I almost want to say that my introduction to Napoleon Dynamite was DVD, and it was just one that we always had in the rotation. Like, I don't think I saw it in theater. So when I found out that, you mentioned earlier that the movie grossed like, I think like between like, what, 43 and 46 million at the box office.
And 43.
43. They grossed over $130 million in DVD and home video sales, which is kind of like, and again, like this is a $400,000 budget. I hope not Jared Heder. That's I'm mixing up their names.
That's their baby together.
John Heder. Yeah, that's actually their kid. Yeah. I hope John Heder negotiated one hell of a deal because that is like, I really can't even fathom that, how impressive that is.
Yeah, $1,000 for 22 days is because you are very good friends with the person who wrote and directed this. And again, it was a short that they played at Sundance and got picked up for financing to make a larger film. So for the two of us, this is a hard film not to love because that is the dream. That's why you make shorts. You make shorts to get the budgeting to maybe make a larger version of the story. Although sometimes, like my film Girl in the Basement, people keep asking if I'll make that longer. I really believe that is perfect at 32 minutes. And that's the story I had to tell. I can't tell more story. Sorry, guys. Yeah. But this is like the dream, to be given the reins and given the opportunity to make this a bigger thing.
Totally.
But to have so much of that money come out of DVD sales, like, I know you want to be good to your friend and be like, I'll do it for less than scale, way less than scale, but like, girl.
But then you're like, what? Yeah, you're like, okay, wait. This is why I think it's so, and I'm not criticizing Jared Hess here for this. I think probably this was kind of a Hail Mary. Like, I don't think anyone foresaw this.
God,
But I think that's why it's so important to negotiate for like residuals and things like that. I mean, this isn't anything new. I feel like I'm stating the obvious, but yeah, that's why it's so important to make sure that you have that in your contract for sure. Because I mean, there's so many movies that I feel like end up not doing well that then become like these cult favorites after, and so you want to make sure that you're still able to like benefit from that. Like, I'm thinking of like Jennifer's Body or like some of these other ones that came out of a similar time period.
So many things will wind up becoming better, like absorbed after the fact. Even just the show we were talking about earlier, Parks and Recreation. Think about how much money that show is made in syndication, let alone in streaming, let alone in like rewatches. It literally makes people just watch it all the time. Like, they just have it on in the background. So like, there has to be some sort of accountability for that. Although it does also launch people's careers. I think this clearly made John Heder. I don't know. I'll say it right once. Maybe I'll say it wrong another time. Put it in the comments because it's engagement and we love those metrics.
If you say it a different way every time, you will eventually say it the right way. So yeah.
Do with that, guys. It launched his career, although it kind of pigeonholed him because he would go on talk shows as Napoleon, and that's like, it's a little hard to do. It's a little hard to get out of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even like his subsequent roles were kind of like in a similar vein. Like, what was it? Benchwarmers, Blades of Glory, are the ones that are coming to mind. Yeah.
Blades of Glory was pretty good. Pretty far from the pretty. Yeah. I'll give them that. Clearly, Heated Rivalry told us what was missing from Blades of Glory. Sorry. Try harder.
Exactly. Ahead of its time.
And the other, just to throw in one more fact, because we pulled towards the end, other fact that I wanted to make sure to throw in here is that the name Napoleon Dynamite, it was originally, the character's name was Seth. So, do you know how we get Napoleon Dynamite?
Literally no clue. No clue at all.
So
I don't even know what his real name is.
There's a like matter of contention here, because Jared says he met a guy, well, because Brigham Young is a Mormon university, and they do, I forget the word for when you have to go somewhere and proselytize your religion.
Missionary. Trip.
So they do like kind of missionary stuff, and through doing that, he met a person whose name was Napoleon Dynamite. And he thought, it's a fun name. We'll call it Napoleon Dynamite. It's catchier and more memorable. The name Napoleon Dynamite is Elvis Costello's pseudonym.
Oh, really?
And Elvis Costello is not Elvis Costello's name either. It's Declan McManus. So there's like layers on layers here. And Elvis Costello got a little pissed off when this movie came out, because he was like, excuse me? You're just going to use my name and never reference me once, never anything me? What?
Oh, he just didn't.
And you're going to completely change? My Napoleon Dynamite is a cool guy, and your Napoleon Dynamite is this?
But so I wonder if, that's fascinating. I wonder if Jared Hess, did he know that was a pseudonym for Elvis Costello?
To this
Yeah,
day,
so it wasn't done
he claims he didn't know. My belief, he probably did really meet someone who told them their name was Napoleon Dynamite because it was a pseudonym that person used, because it's a pseudonym that Elvis Costello used. But
kind of like a chicken or the egg.
There's a little trivia there if you ever wanted to know. Because you know how celebrities have to have a second name for when they sign into hotels or things like that. And they usually use the same one. That was his pseudonym.
Napoleon Dynamite's an interesting one to use as like your more low-key name. Can I just say, like...
Throw that out there, right?
Yeah. That's a pretty...
And also,
as
you say, Declan, you took the name Elvis. Like, it's not very unique either.
Right, like just kind of all around that logic falls through. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was another Elvis.
one comes to mind.
One or two. As we get towards the end, I want to do favorite scene, least favorite scene. Do you have a favorite scene?
Oh, that's such a hard one. Okay, there's two that come to mind. Really, just the entire Rex Kwon Do scene. That is probably one of my favorite scenes, like, of any comedy. There's something about that scene that kills me. I think maybe it's also going back to what we were talking about like the relatability. I just know so many of those people from like Southeast Texas, where like I grew up, or like Louisiana, where like also we lived. I know Rex from Rex Kwon Do. Maybe that's why I also found that like caricature of that type of person so funny. But least favorite, I almost want to go like anytime Rico was being like low-key creepy and like not consensual, especially when he was talking to the teenagers. I was like, we need to lock that man away. That was the only thing that I kind of felt like didn't age great. Like, I know that is also, though, like, he's a sleazy character, but what about you?
Yeah, I would have probably cut those scenes.
Right.
I would have probably cut those scenes just because, I mean, it didn't feel super necessary, but I also think that there's a, like, most of the characters have a flaw about them, and they really want to highlight Uncle Rico's flaw, and that is a huge part of it. He perceives himself to be this impresario, and he really isn't. I think it could have been done a little better without the like level of pedophilia involved. I think the way that he interacts with that one mom was pretty good. Like, that character doesn't totally feel fleshed out in a way that makes sense. I get, like, we're not with him enough for it to make sense.
For like a full backstory. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, yeah, I don't know about that one. I do think that the Taekwondo scene with Diedrich Bader, I believe is that actor. Yeah, Diedrich Bader.
Another one I love from like other shows. Like, I love him on Better Things with Pamela Adlon.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that he was in other stuff I'd seen, which is a common thing with this movie. Yeah.
I love him in Office Space as the roommate.
Yes. Me too. I love that movie. Oh my gosh.
So good. He was also great on the Drew Carey Show, which is probably the first time I ever saw him. He winds up a lot on stuff related to those particular actors. They originally were going to go with Brad Garrett, the older brother from Everybody Loves Raymond, for that character, but they wound up giving it to Bader, and I think Bader is a better nuanced character actor, just more voices, so I like that choice. Actually, one of the craziest casting choices that was supposed to happen because 20th Century Searchlight Fox wanted a big actor for this, but Hess had to be like, no, we are filming this with the actor who did this short. They wanted Jake Gyllenhaal to be Napoleon Dynamite.
You're lying.
No. Sit on that, right? Sit with that and just think about that.
Like a year before he did Brokeback Mountain? Right. Sure. Yeah.
How do you make, like, I don't buy that guy for awkward. Excuse me?
I thought you were just going to end it there. I don't buy that guy.
I don't buy that guy. No, he did Donnie Darko. That's fine. That's great. I love Donnie Darko. He was Donnie Darko. He's brooding.
Actor.
He's troubled.
He's a serious
He's
actor,
not quirky. Like, no. If you need someone to look like Jake Gyllenhaal but be quirky, at least go talk to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You got the flavor all wrong, guy.
Right, like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many other comedic actors from that time I would have gone with over him. Like, to me, Jake Gyllenhaal is way better skilled at dramatic acting.
He's not a comedic actor, although would pay very good money to see the screens, the tests for that.
The audition.
Just
do you think he did an audition tape? Oh my god, I need someone to leak that. I know you're out there, someone who has this tape, if it is a real thing, and please drop the link. We would love to see it.
Please? I'm sure Taylor Swift is mad enough at him now that she can figure out how to give that to us. She wrote that like 12-minute song. She was so mad.
Whew. And it's a banger.
And it's a fucking banger, okay? When she performed it on Saturday Night Live, I was literally like, I know that this is 11 minutes long, but I am here for it.
I watched that short film an embarrassing amount of times that she made that song is in. Yeah, I watched that and embarrassed. It's pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie, and it has one of my favorite cinematographers. But I digress.
So my favorite scene from this, like there are so many scenes I want to quote. There's so many, like I wanted to break out a notebook while we were watching just to write stuff down to be like, I want to say that again later when it's totally makes sense to say that. It's going to be so much fun to say that. So like picking an individual scene feels really hard for me.
It's so hard.
Oh God, I do really love the scene when he first meet Deb at the doorstep and she's got the little
I felt
lanyards.
so seen by her. Oh my God. I felt so seen by Deb.
So it was
That's a good choice. That's a really good scene.
With a close second being legitimately the opening sequence. I loved the way that was shot. I thought that was so unique. And like, are you talking practical?
Catch up.
Credits?
Writing.
Like credits
God,
that are
yeah.
not just added in post?
There's something so nice about that, right? Like even if it's just like I liked how Luca Guadagnino did the "Call Me by Your Name" opening credits with it was like the professor's desk. It was like all of like the materials like out. I guess that had things to do with the movie, and so like even though like it wasn't like filmed and as really really cool as the Napoleon Dynamite one is, like I love when they take like a real picture or like a real something. Yeah, it's like in a more engaging
and they build off
way.
of that, like what we do in the shadows, the same sort of thing. Like they've made all these silly bits of things, that feel like it's from the show, and you feel like instantly you're engaged with the credits. You're reading the credits. They're not just happening while you're trying to be like, get out of the fucking way. I need to see what's going on here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Or when they like change the materials, like someone's throwing a newspaper and then it's like on the newspaper is like directed by or whatever. Like I love like the practical stuff like that. It's cool.
Yeah, the stuff in camera. Very fun. And then I guess my least favorite scene, I would go with you as well with that particular scene. I didn't really care for that scene. It's also like 120 minutes, 125 minutes. It's hard to find stuff you didn't like. I do love the pacing and the editing choices to keep it a little bit tight. Yeah, I like that a lot. I guess I also really loved how much people liked Pedro's wig. I had a great hair day today. Like, okay.
I feel like it was really good at the end. Like I thought it looked great on him. I also will say too, like the physical comedy was impressive. Like one of my favorite scenes is like the bike ramp also. Like I was kind of between that and like the Rex Kwon Do one. And he doesn't even he says like 4 words in that scene. Yeah. And also like it shouldn't be that funny. I love that scene. It's so funny. Yeah. When
it's just, definitely like I don't know if you're familiar with Monty Python.
Yes, I love Monty Python.
So Monty Python is incredibly funny, but we all know that friend who tries to be Monty Python and never quite gets it right. Like there's something so unique about the weirdness of the humor that if you try and capture it or recreate it, it's never gonna work. So it's really weird. The script is so weird. You can't.
It's like trying to explain a TikTok sound. Right. Yeah, like you can't replicate it. Yeah, trying to explain anything that like is funny but really needs the visual aid is really hard to do. Yeah.
And it's in the delivery and it's in the way that it's put together and makes you feel. And anytime you try and explain comedy, you're gonna want. There's one exception. For some reason, the show Saturday Night Live is always funnier when somebody else tells you the skit. I'll watch it and be like, that's funny. Someone else will detail a skit without any visuals, and I'll be like, that sounds great. And then I'll watch it and I'll be like, that was okay.
You're so right, though. What is that phenomenon? What is that phenomenon where it's like the opposite of how you would think it would be?
Yeah.
Interesting. That is so true. And like, it's also kind of the way that like you can quote Vines and like, it's still just as funny. Maybe it's like, I don't know, it's more bite-sized.
Seinfeld, because I've seen every single episode of Seinfeld and I love it. Scott doesn't like Seinfeld, never really seen any, but every once in a while I'll be like, so this is like, and then I'll explain a Seinfeld plot and he'll be like, that sounds truly funny. And I'm like, yes it was, but I still think you'd hate it.
Maybe you're still not gonna like it though. Maybe it's because it's like it's so like it is like it doesn't need a lot of nuance or like explaining around it. Like it kind of is like the situational comedy or moment or something, or it's because like we all know that person. It's like it's like self-referential maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so absurd. You're like, I know that this is really weird, but you've got a side saddler in your life, and I need to explain to you what that means. So, well, let's do the last 3 questions here. We're gonna tie this up. We're at 2 hours, so we should tie this up a little bit. We'll edit out some stuff. Did I like this movie? Did you like this? First of all, did you like this movie rewatching it? Because you're doing something that a friend of mine who does a show called Unkind Rewind with Josh Duggan, who also does the show Munch My Benson, which is an SVU show where they talk about SVU episodes. Both are fantastic. Highly recommend.
That's a great name for a podcast.
It's such a great name for a podcast that they were a question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That's so cool. I loved that show when I was a kid. I had the card game. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I would never not like stop talking about that if that happened to me.
I
That's so
texted
cool.
him the second I saw it. Everybody was losing their mind.
That's so cool.
But on Unkind Rewind, they have guests watch a movie they loved when they were younger, but haven't seen in a while to
Ooh,
see
that's
if
a
it still
great
holds
premise.
up. Yes. And so you've Unkind Rewound. How did it hold up for you?
Oh my gosh. Luckily this one, I loved it even more, like watching it as an adult, because I've like lived life and like, I don't know, like coming back to it and not just being like, oh, it's not just like this like dumb quotable movie. It's actually just as good, if not better than I remember. What about you?
Yes. I really like this movie. I feel like
Yay! I'm so glad.
this is so...
I had a feeling you would.
This is probably the hottest take I'll put on this show, but we're already 2 hours in, so who even knows who's going to hear
Who
it?
cares?
I watched The Wizard of Oz, like on episode 3 of this show, because I'd never seen it as part of a challenge because we were talking about Wicked. And I'd never seen it because I thought, like, I've seen all the clips of it. Is it really going to add up to anything, knowing the bits of it? Didn't really feel like it did add up. It was fine.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe at best Napoleon Dynamite would be fine. Or at least now I'll understand all the quotes that are in it. But even with the love of the quotes, they add up to a whole complete story. And that story is really enjoyable as well. So like there's this 2-part here where like I now feel better fit into understanding pop culture and society because this film is one of the 30 most influential Sundance films. Right. And now also I'm just like, I would throw this back on because it was fun. I want to have a Vote for Pedro t-shirt. I want to make a quesadilla. I want to finish bowling and go, if I ever get on Survivor, every single time, if he ever puts the necklace, Jeff puts that neck.
It reminds me so much of Molly Shannon doing Superstar. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah, Mary Catherine Gallagher. I went to Catholic school for a short period in the early part of my life, and Mary Catherine Gallagher is spot on.
Spot on. Yeah.
Spot on. Would you recommend this to other people is the next question. And you recommended it to me, so.
I think we know. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And shout out my cousin Riley for reminding me that I need to be recommending this more because I do think it influenced like a lot of my sense of humor. And that's always a good sign. I feel like Mean Girls and like Napoleon were like my comedic like North Stars. So I totally would. Would you?
Fantastic. Yes. And I want to also thank cousin Riley because like I would have missed this. This is the perfect film to be watching right now in a slew of like really deep Oscar season stuff. Like, I absolutely needed this. And, you know, you were saying you didn't see it when it first came out. And I quick threw into Google the rating because I thought like, oh, in the 4th grade, would you have gone to see this? It's rated PG. You totally could have gone to see this.
I might have seen it in the theaters. I can't even remember. Yeah.
So part of me was thinking like,
the DVD.
Would I even recommend this to children? I think with a certain age, I think like tweens, I think like I would because it's really kind of sweet.
It really is. It's funny to think about this being like our godfather that we're like, you guys don't know about cinema from my time. Like, I'm going to be that parent who's like, you're going to watch from my time. And hopefully they'll actually enjoy it. And it'll be in an age appropriate time. And they won't be like me running around in pull-ups watching a car blow up, like,
You
yeah.
know, it's a great film for a kindergartner. Sniper. Get him into Tom
The
Burton's
baptism scene, I was just like, God, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think both of our parents were kind of the people who were like, we're watching it. You're going to be in the room or you can leave the room. I don't know and I don't care.
Exactly. My mom took me to see Mean Girls in theaters in '05. I was like 10 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not
To her
bad.
credit, I don't think she knew how intense it was going to be, but yeah. That's one that probably could have used an R rating, maybe. Yeah.
It's going to say, I might hold off on Mean Girls. I would recommend this movie sooner to kids than I would recommend Mean Girls. Unless I knew I had like a budding teenage girl.
Right.
I think I might show like a 13 or 14-year-old girl Mean Girls just to be like, there are other options.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to behave
Don't be
like
her.
this. Don't be her. In fact, here's Deb. Be Deb.
Be Deb. In a world of Regina George's, be Deb.
Although the number of times in my life that I say something is going to be my fetch, I will make this happen.
You're
that line
make it happen.
Does live rent-free in my head. What do you think is the most quotable line from Napoleon Dynamite?
From Napoleon Dynamite, I would say, I don't know if this is just because this was the one that like me and my cousins and my brother would say, and at school everyone would always yell this at each other, but Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner is pretty high up there for me. Also, a freaking 12 gauge. We would say that all the time in school when he was talking about hunting wolverines. Freaking 12 gauge. Yeah. I don't know if that's just the Texan in me, but what about you? It's so hard to pick one because also because I've been chatting online with babes all day. I love saying that.
Yes.
So,
oh God. Yes.
Kip. Yeah.
Oh God, I've been chatting online with babes all day.
So good.
I need to watch it again. I immediately to pick more of my favorite lines. Right now, I think I am mostly living off of the.
It's so simple. It's so good.
Simple. Like you can do it to yourself. Like you can be grocery shopping and they'll just like, they have cotton candy grapes.
It works in every situation.
It's beautiful. This is a beautiful thing. And there's a part of me that desperately wants to learn the choreography at the end.
So funny. It's so funny. Knowing he improvised it is wow. Because I learned it when I was in middle school with my friend, and like it is like on beat and like very good. Like I did not know it was improvised. Yeah.
Improvised in minimal takes as well.
Yeah, it's very
And
impressive.
to a great song. Canned Heat by Jamiroquai. Great song.
I love playing that at the bar that I work at.
And I also love the conceit that was just like a tape that LaFont, like, oh, my friend came out with this cool song, I'll check it out.
Right, like she's just friends with them. Yeah.
Just, it's pretty cool stuff. And then the last question is usually like, did you regret this experience?
I feel like it's pretty clear. Yeah, right. I feel like it's pretty clear. Definitely not. To your point about just the onslaught of really bad news right now, it was really nice to like go back to like a comfort watch. That's still really funny. There's nothing worse than when you go back to watch like your friend's podcast, which is such a good premise because I've had to check myself recommending things from my childhood before I do the adult rewatch. So it could have very easily been that, but I'm very glad it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with a comedy. I think comedies are something I will not recommend unless I've rewatched, because sometimes you're like, I forgot how they treated obesity. This whole movie is just one reoccurring fat joke after another, and my brain just edited it down to the like cool musical parts.
Right.
Especially being a little bit older, I have to be super careful because I will completely forget, like, oh no, that was technically rape. They didn't portray it like that in that John Hughes movie, but you're not allowed to do that.
Oh, 1000%.
Speaking of Revenge of the Nerds.
God. Right. Or, oh my God, I used to say that 16 Candles was one of my favorites. And then I went back and I watched the exchange student. Oh my God, I felt so bad. I was like, oh girl, keep it in check. Yeah.
I recently watched St. Elmo's Fire for the first time.
Okay, that is a very problematic movie, but it is one of my favorite 80s hangout movies.
I think because I did not watch it ahead of time. It was so hard to watch. Watching it only now,
Yeah, yeah.
where you're like, you are stalking Andy McDowell. What is going on?
Right. Right. And also just Rob Lowe's entire character. I was like, boo boo. Oh my. Yeah, no. I mean, the things I always joke that like, oh, like I would love to live back in the 80s if it was like actually as gay as like it looked. But that is they had a very different definition of like what was romantic back then, that's for sure. Like I would be like, stop following me, please. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had a like, if she says no, it's because she just wants you to be more intense about it.
No. Nah.
Nah, son. So yeah, can't recommend St. Elmo's Fire, but
No.
definitely recommend Napoleon Dynamite. And that's and that's going to be the end for us here. It's been so fun talking about this. We could just sit back and forth, talk back and forth and say the different quotes and all the different stuff, but we do have to wrap it up. I did want to throw out there a little shout out about your film. It's going to be out in LA.
Yes. Okay. So, Only Time Heals, the short that I wrote, directed, and produced, will be screening Thursday, March 5th at the Golden State Film Festival in LA. And it's going to be screening at the TCL Chinese Theater, which is like a crazy sentence. This is where that film festival is held. So, I kind of can't believe that. I can't go, unfortunately, but if you are in the Southern California area, go check it out. Yeah. Very exciting.
Congrats.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. That is so fun. We had talked about that film because it was just about getting done in the last episode, but now you can go see it places. So yay! Make sure you do if you're out in the LA area. And otherwise, we'll see you again some other time.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it for this episode of What If I Don't Like It? We are going to try something a little bit different this time. It's the beginning of season 3, and every season I like to try and do something a little different. And so I'm going to try a formatting change. Normally I put extended trivia at the back end of every episode, but I think I'd like to try and make it a little bit more digestible, give you smaller episodes. And so I'm going to give you your extended trivia on the first of every episode. So you'll get 2 episodes a month. The 15th will be the new content with guest, and the first will be extended trivia. I am going to keep corrections and omissions, like that big stuff, in each individual episode in case there's something that we said wrong. I want to get it right away. This episode we didn't do anything like that, so we're fully covered there. So there's none for this one. But the trivia, you'll see it later on. If there's something we didn't cover with regards to trivia, or maybe something else, throw it in the comments and I will put it in that next episode, which will be under 30 minutes, so it'll be a more, again, digestible nugget for you guys. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to trying out this new format with you. Please let me know what you think.